You know how they say that fashion returns, it comes around. Of course, I'm not very big on sartorial splendour, so I'm the last one to ask for that. But things do return, like, for example, the Hasselback potatoes. I did those on the show. And all of a sudden, now I'm not saying they copied me, not for 1 second, but all of a sudden I noticed that everyone was doing Hasselback potatoes. Well, this one's a bit like too, this green goddess dressing. Now, I first started doing this in the early 70s, a restaurant I had in New Zealand called The Galleon. Now, a girlfriend at the time gave me a cookbook. What was it? The Plaza Hotel cookbook from New York. Pretty shitty cookbook, but it had this green goddess dressing in it, and I used to use it all the time. And supposedly it was created in 1923 at the Palace Hotel in San Francisco in honour of a play called The Green Goddess. My mate, Mr. Prentice, who always has a different reason, he reckons it's because he had an affair with a punk goddess who had green hair. Right, you can look at whichever reason you like, but that said, oh, Mr. Prentice, you are a worry, you really are. Anyway, beside the point, I'm sorry guys, I'm laughing so much about that one. Beside the point, it is a terrific dressing, and I use it for everything, and at the Galleon I used to serve it with the fish. I used to do a really nice, just simple grilled fillet of John Dory, or was it John? Yeah, I think it was John Dory. And I just used to serve it with that. But today we're serving with chicken. Now I've just got a really lovely free-range chicken breast, and I'm going to show you how to poach it brilliantly. So what I've got there is a pot of boiling water. You can add some things to it. You could add a chilli, you could add some spring onions, you could do. I'm not bothering because the sauce has got a bit of kick to it. So I'm just going to simmer it gently, turning it halfway for 5 minutes exactly. Then I'm going to cover it tightly, and I'm going to let it sit for anything up to 10 minutes. Depends on the size of the chicken breast, right? But do try and keep it covered. So 5 minutes, this is very important, 5 minutes, turn it off, cover it, and then leave it for up to 10 minutes. But normally I leave it about 6 minutes, just to confuse everyone. Right. Now, the green goddess. 3 tablespoons of Greek yogurt, good tablespoons. 3 tablespoons of mayonnaise. Bought mayonnaise is fine, guys. You don't have to go all fancy and make it yourself. You could if you want to. A little bit of harissa, which is obviously Middle Eastern style chili paste. Not too much of that because it's got a bit of a kick. A few anchovies. I mean, I'd put about 10 anchovies because I love them, so. But I think the recipe calls for 3, so maybe stick to that. Don't be tempted to blend this or process it because you want it to have some texture. Chopped herbs. Now I've got some parsley, tarragon, which I love, and some chives. That's what I've got in there. But what I've also got in there is 1 long green chilli, which I've chopped very finely, and 1 spring onion, which I've also chopped very finely. Just turn it over now, because we're about halfway through. The zest of 1 lime, and also the juice of 1 lime. Just mix it up. I sometimes add a little bit of hot water, and I sometimes add a little bit of olive oil. Now, because of the harissa, it shouldn't really need any salt or pepper, but just have a taste. Gee, that's good. It's like the classiest tartare you've ever seen. It's not very green, I must admit. But tastes wonderful. Lid on tightly, up to 10 minutes. All right, we're going to serve this on some green beans. And I'll use the same water, but I'll salt it this time. And I've just strung. Particularly if your beans are tough, you can use one of these little bean machines. So if your beans are a bit old and not perfect, that'll fix them. But I do want to keep them nice and under. Just like that. Nice and crisp and crunchy. And then my chicken. This is a warm dish, of course. That's why I don't mind the chicken being poached. And then a little bit of salt on that because I didn't season the water. And my green goddess. Now, yes, you can process a bit of that if you like, just to get a colour, because to be fair, mine hasn't got a lot of colour, but I can promise you one little thing. It'll taste bloody marvellous. It really will. That is a good dressing, and you can use it for anything. And what you need is something nice and crisp. Now, to bilk Masan, I've used it before. It is one of the absolute bargains of the world. They seem to keep putting the price down. Absolutely crisp and clean and fresh all those nice things. All right, enjoy this one because I reckon this is a ripper dish. Guys, to show your support for my channel and to keep in the loop, subscribe. It's easy to do, and don't forget, it's free. Okay, cheers.